Power is often misunderstood. We tend to think of it as armies, borders, or secret rooms. But true, lasting power is much quieter. It is the power of the pen, the power of the law, and the power of the idea. Despite making up just 0.2% of the global population, the Jewish community's influence on science, law, medicine, and culture is statistically staggering. How did a people who spent 2,000 years without a country, without an army, and under constant persecution become the architects of much of the modern world? Today, we aren't looking at myths or conspiracy theories. We are looking at the mechanics of influence and the architecture of what sociologists call soft power. To understand this influence, you have to look at the power of the pen. For most civilizations, power was determined by physical strength or land ownership. But for the Jewish people, who were frequently exiled, land was a liability. You can't take a farm with you when you're forced to flee. So, they invested in intellectual capital. In 64 AD, centuries before universal education was even a concept in the West, Jewish law mandated that every father must send his son to school. While much of the world remained illiterate for the next 1700 years, the Jewish community was building a massive intellectual lead. This wasn't just about reading, it was about a culture of debate. The Talmud, a central text of Jewish life, is essentially a giant record of ancient experts disagreeing with one another. This created a cultural DNA of critical thinking, the exact skill set required for modern science, legal theory, and high-tech innovation. This transition into institutional power was seamless because Jewish life was already governed by a complex religious legal system for millennia. In a democracy, power belongs to those who understand the rules. By championing civil rights and judicial ethics, Jewish figures didn't just gain power within the system, they helped write the system. This is the power of the advocate, the ability to interpret rules and protect the marginalized. But intellectualism alone doesn't explain this level of influence. You also need chutzpah. This Hebrew word describes a mix of audacity, nerve, and the total refusal to take no for an answer. When you are told for centuries that you cannot own land or hold certain jobs, you develop a radical form of resilience. This high-risk tolerance is the engine behind a massive presence in high-stakes industries like finance and film. In fact, much of the American dream was packaged and sold by Jewish immigrants who founded the major Hollywood studios. They took their own longing for a safe, prosperous home and turned it into the global standard for success. From the superheroes of Marvel to the foundations of the global financial system, they didn't just join the culture, they helped define its boundaries. Ultimately, this power is anchored by the network effect. The concept of arivut, that all Jews are responsible for one another, means that success is viewed as a collective effort. This isn't a secret society, it's a high-trust network where community philanthropy acts as a safety net, allowing individuals to take bigger risks because they know they won't fall alone. The power we see today isn't found in a hidden agenda, it's found in a 2,000-year-old curriculum that prioritizes literacy over land, argument over apathy, and resilience over retreat. It is a blueprint of influence that values the mind as the only truly portable asset. When you invest in the mind, you create a power that no border can contain and no empire can take away. That is the real architecture of influence. Thanks for watching.